Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. My name is Arya Witner, and this is not the weekly NXT report, as NXT is doing a 2-hour year in review this week. So instead, I decided to go into the Wayback Machine, go to YouTube, and with this being the start of the road to WrestleMania and the road to Royal Rumble, I would go watch a never before seen, unless you also have YouTube, Royal Rumble, the New York City Royal Rumble match. This was not, the Royal Rumble pay-per-view of 2008. This was a house show, January 17th, 1994, in front of about 9,000 people. And actually, they did two house show Royal Rumbles that year. They're both up on YouTube. The other was when they were in Japan. And this is only going to be about the Royal Rumble match itself. The rest of the card, in case you're curious, Scott Putski, of all people, pinned Iron Mike Sharpe. Rick Steiner fought Ludwig Borga to a double countout. It's actually where Borga got his ankle injury that not only took him out of the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, but led to him leaving the WWF. Razor Ramon beat Jeff Jarrett by disqualification. Yokozuna pinned Tatanka, and the Quebecers won the WWF Tag Team titles from Marty Jannetty and the 1-2-3 Kid, the belts that they just lost to Jannetty and the Kid the week before. And so the Quebecers are champions again. And so let's get on with tonight's show, or with the main event of tonight's show, the Royal Rumble match. Same rules, 30 men, roughly every 2 minutes, someone new enters. This is fan cam footage, so there's no there's Howard Finkel introducing everybody, but there's no color commentating, there's no announcing. It's shaky camera from the stands. And so if you can get through that, there's really nothing wrong with it. It's probably the same guy that did the infamous click video that, was never supposed to get out, but of course did. So we'll go through here. I'll go entrant by entrant here. The first person was Diesel. The second was Mo. This was about as good as you would expect Diesel versus Mo would be. Considering Nash would have his breakthrough moment at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view the next week, and Mo's biggest role would be as Mabel's manager, it was funny watching Mo get offense. And of course, Mo screwed up getting eliminated, somehow catching his foot in the ropes, necessitating Nash to go help him out to eliminate Mo. Butch of the Bushwhackers was number 3. He marched in, he bit Diesel in the ass, and then was thrown out about a minute later. 1-2-3 Kid was 4. Diesel beeled him across the ring, which, in case you didn't know, it was named after former NWA champion Frank Beal. 1-2-3 Kid broke out a flying head scissors, but then got tossed out. But when he got tossed out, he injured his knee and actually put him out for a couple of months after this. Scott Steiner was number 5, and we had the oopsie moment of the match, as Diesel first didn't let Steiner into the ring, and then Diesel stepped over the top rope, jumped to the floor, and attacked Steiner on the floor. The referees ignored that because that's not when Diesel was supposed to be eliminated. So Diesel got back in a minute later. Scott got to look strong. He threw Diesel around. He actually hit Diesel with a chair at one point, but he did, of course, last the entire 2 minutes. And then we got Iron Mike Sharpe at number 6. Yes, the roster was so thin that Mike Sharpe got to get a payday and double duty on the show. He ran in, he forearmed Scott, and got thrown right out. Samu was number 7. There was no office, so I have no idea how either of the head shrinkers managed to get to the arena, much less get in their tights and go to the ring at a predetermined time. But alas, here we are. Nash and Samu teamed up briefly, but quickly turned on one another. Bob Backlund was 8. This wasn't crazy Bob Backlund, but Opie. Ironically, he ran after Diesel, who of course he would drop the title to in MSG just 10 months later. Jeff Jarrett was number 9, which made him the 3rd future WCW champion in the ring at this point. Everyone beat the hell out of Jarrett. It's possible that Samu beat him up because he knew that he'd be the only one in the ring to not one day collect a TNA paycheck and wanted a piece of Jarrett now. Virgil was in at 10 and took the worst backbreaker / shoulder breaker in wrestling history from Diesel. Samu, Jarrett, and Steiner were teaming up to push Backlund over the middle rope. Perhaps no one told them the rules. Perhaps no one told Backlund because Backlund was fighting like the floor was made out of hot lava. To confuse the fans, Jarrett did the 10 punches of doom during the 10-second countdown. So you had the crowd confused whether to count down from 10 or count up to 10. But anyway, Bam Bam Bigelow came in number 11. Randy Savage came in at number 12 with the loudest pop of the match. He eliminated Diesel after Big D missed a boot in the corner, and then he threw out Jeff Jarrett. Adam Bomb was 13. Sergeant Slaughter was 14. And Adam Bomb didn't last long as Slaughter ran in and helped Steiner and Backlund eliminate Adam Bomb. Crush was 15. This was when Savage and Crush were feuding, which would culminate at WrestleMania 10. Crush got rid of Steiner, and then eventually threw out Randy Savage, which took the air out of the building at this point. Mabel was in at 16. Savage tried to get back in with a chair, but was very easily held back by a referee. Bam Bam at this point dove at Crush, but Crush showed his speed and agility by reversing momentum and tossing Bam Bam out. Crush then threw the Sarge out. Jim Powers was 17. And I actually had to re-listen to this 3 times because it sounded like Howard Finkel called him Dick Hard. I don't know how it sounded like he said Dick Hard when he said Jim Powers, but believe me, it happened. But that actually was more than he deserved listening to it 3 times as Mabel splashed him in the corner and threw him out right away. Bastion Booger was 18. He'd missed the real 94 Royal Rumble with a severe case of storyline reasons. He got to the ring and everyone was trying to eliminate him. And somehow, in this big melee with like 5 people trying to eliminate Bastion Booger, somehow Bob Backlund, Virgil, and Mabel all went out instead. Crush got tired of Booger, so he threw him out. It was down to Crush and Samu in the ring, of all people. Crush won a test of strength just in time for Luke to come in at number 19. He immediately got back. He immediately backdropped Samu out, but Samu got his head stuck in the ropes, so he had to get Samu out of the ropes before throwing him out. Crush then missed a clothesline by at least 5 feet, but Luke ran past him and then took a bump before being eliminated by a raised knee. I'm just going to say, whatever. Crush at this point is all alone as we enter the last third of the Royal Rumble with number 20, Owen Hart. Owen's last week as a babyface for almost 4 years. It began with a double leg of Crush, and Owen outbrawled Crush Bra. But Brian Adams got tired of being punched, so he threw Owen high into the air and allowed him to crash onto the mats. Rick Martel was 21. We got the classic Battle Royal heel miscommunication spot, which gave Owen a chance to shine for a second or two. But Owen's getting beaten down like the little brother, the shadow that he was. And so who came to his rescue, but number 22, his brother, Bret Hart. At this point, I don't know what happened. Something happened in the crowd as police and security went running down the aisle and off camera, distracting the fans, but we never saw what happened. 23 was IRS. Bret drop-kicked Crush out of the ring, ending the dream of Crush to win this house show main event. Johnny Polo, the manager of the WWF Tag Team Champions, before he was 2-time ECW champion as Raven, he ran in after Bret, and Bret got tired of his comedy shenanigans after 10 seconds and traded off with Owen, allowing the younger brother the comedy spot, while Bret got double-teamed by Martel and IRS. Polo, by the way, I don't know if I don't know, maybe because I didn't watch a whole lot of Scotty Flamingo. I didn't watch pretty much any other company other than WCW at this point. So like maybe like he was just pretending to be really, really bad, but he was really, really bad at this point. And he got better over the years, even if he got better by doing a lot of hardcore matches. Hey, whatever floats your boat, right? 26 was Scott Putski of all people. I'm sorry, that was 25 was Scott Putski of all people. 26 was fought to. At this point, and I guess everything else I've checked has confirmed that the quote-unquote master tape of this match is missing about 5 minutes as we go from 26, which is fought to, and then 27 was Bart Gunn, 28 was Marty Jannetty, which we missed both. And then the video came back to Shawn Michaels entering at 29. No one was eliminated. Just we all of a sudden had 3 more people in there. And then number 30, the 30th entrant in the Royal Rumble, the luckiest man in Madison Square Garden. If you think of all the great number 30s, you think of like Undertaker, Big Show, hell, Roman Reigns last year. You have all these people who came out number 30. John Cena, Triple H, number 30 in the MSG Royal Rumble. Doink the Clown. Not that anybody cared, but Jannetty got eliminated, and then Johnny Polo got eliminated. Scott Putski got eliminated. This was Titanic time. Everyone was jumping overboard at this point. Martel was gone. Doink suplex Bart Gunn out of the ring, which may be the only time I ever saw that. Shawn was not impressed by these shenanigans, and he clotheslined Doink out. It came down to the final 4 as Bret threw IRS out. So it came down to the last 4. Bret, Owen, fought to, and Shawn Michaels. 3 of the 4 would be the final 4 at the regular Royal Rumble a week later. Luger would be the 4th instead of Owen. Bret did the 10 punches to Fatu, and Shawn came over and pushed Bret over the top rope and eliminated him. And honestly, if I didn't know who had won, I would have been surprised that Shawn Michaels eliminates Bret Hart, and we're down to 3. And Shawn and Fatu form an alliance, but like most Royal Rumble heel alliances, this one did not work out. Owen went for the double noggin knocker, which KO'd HBK, but Fatu laughed in his face and KO'd him with a headbutt. The heels used a double team inverted atomic drop / super kick before Razor Ramon ran down the aisle and took his shirt off. That distracted Shawn. Fatu inadvertently ran into Shawn, who tumbled out of the ring, and Shawn was so mad at this, he just went and fought off to the back with Razor. They helped out the ring crew a little bit, as at somehow, some way, the middle rope snapped off at this point. And so the ropes began sagging, which, in theory, makes it easier to throw somebody over the top if the top rope is drooping down a little bit. Samu came out to encourage his fellow Savage as Owen and Fatu traded near eliminations. Samu didn't really interfere, but Bret came back down to cheer the baby brother on. And actually, the final 2, it was fine at first, but it went a good 5 minutes, and it just got boring after a while. The crowd died off a bit. The finish saw Fatu go to the top rope. Owen tossed him from the top rope to the mat, hit some moves, then drop kicked him over the top rope for the win. Bret ran in to raise Owen's hand, and for one night, the brothers were on good terms. But little did the crowd in the garden know that the next date that they would see the WWF would be WrestleMania 10, when Bret and Owen would go one-on-one. So that does it. I want to thank you for joining me for this trip down memory lane. We're back to normal next week with a regular episode of NXT. And until then, I want to thank you all for listening, and take care.